In this video, we're going to go over the different elements that you can input on your next WEBFLOW website. So if you want to learn the basics of WEBFLOW, I recommend that you stick around. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? My name is Abrot, and I'm the founder and creative director at Abrot Creative, a design agency focused on helping faith-based ministries and nonprofits. But on Instagram and on YouTube, I like to teach about the process and the business of web design. Pretty much how you can learn how to create websites and how you can learn how to make money and make a living, support your family, whatever, creating websites. Today, I recommend that you just sit down, relax, grab some coffee, and learn the basics of WEBFLOW. We're gonna jump right into the content in 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go ahead and press this plus button right here. So that's the plus button that you need, okay? And this has all the elements they're gonna be able to put, I'm trying to center myself here. They're gonna be able to put on WEBFLOW, okay? So we're gonna start out with sections. Sections is one of the main things that you want to learn. Now this right here, this layout, let me just explain real quick. Those are pretty much all divs. And what a div is a container. It's pretty much kind of like a box. And you can put stuff inside that div. You can put, pictures, words, buttons, whatever. Those are pretty much where the elements will go. So this layout right here is where the elements are gonna go in your website. So section is usually what I like to start with. I like to break up my website in sections. For example, there's a nav bar, there's the header, there's like the about description, blah, 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 and then like the footer and the bottom. So I like to break it up in sections. So if you put that here, notice now you have a first section. And what I like to do when I style it, I'll put the name like, nav bar, header. And what I like to do is I will put like white background. So anytime I have a white background on my website, it will have the same amount of padding, same margin, and all of these things, all same padding and all that. So section is one of them. Container is very important. Container is what you want to put inside your section. See, section is kind of like where you can put your backgrounds, and you can put images in the background, you can put colors, and then container is where the elements will go. That's typically what I like to do. Now, they have a pre-built container in WEBFLOW, and I believe it is about 960 pixels. Some people don't like that. Some people think it's a little too narrow. That's kind of the setting that they like to put so that it's mobile responsive. And what you can do with that is you can replace container. Instead of container, you could put what we like to call a div block. And you could set a div block as a container. So let's say you don't want 960 pixels. Let's say you want, 1200 pixels. Go ahead and put a div block. And I like to typically name it container. And then that's our default container, okay? Then these are just different types of divs. If you go to our last video, by the way, before you do that, if you want to learn about the different style elements, go to the last video. I'm gonna put the link up here, and you can learn about this side right here, which is the style board. So if I click here, this whole side, you can learn about that in our last video. So we're gonna go ahead and go to our elements here. Container, we talked about that, and let's talk about grid and column. Those are pretty much just different types of layouts, different type display. There's a grid container or a grid layout where you can put multiple things, or also columns. Now let's look at the basic elements that you can put in your website. A div block, like I said, is pretty much like a box, a container. And what's cool about this, you can put divs inside divs. And let me explain to you this. All of this are pretty much div. Like this is a big div. There's like a medium-sized div, and these are just like a small div. So you can put divs inside, these grids. You can put divs inside these columns. And once you learn about divs, there's so much that you can do with that. A list is similar. It's a div as well, but with that, you're able to group elements. You see right here, a list gives you the ability to group elements or content. What's cool about WEBFLOW, by the way, is anytime you have a doubt about something, once you highlight over it, click the question mark, and it'll explain to you what that is. So list can be used when you have like navigation, kind of a vertical navigation thing. There's many things you could do with that. A list item is, you could put, instead of just words, you could put like images and stuff like that for this item. A link block is also a div, but this time it's a clickable div. Like you can make, you could actually link it. So if you were to, let's say an image, if you were to click that, it'll open up to another page, or it opens up like a light box, you know, the pop up. You can use a link block for that. And then a button, that's pretty self-explanatory, a button, okay? Next, typography. There's different typographies that you can use inside your element. We have heading. Essentially, you could go ahead and just put text and do your own thing. But these are just kind of shortcuts to be able to do that easily. Okay, heading would be just your headers, paragraph, some text. A link is a clickable text. So that's kind of, you can use that for your nav block. When you have a menu up here, you know, for about page, contact page, you can use a text link for that. And then you have a block quote. Some people may not know what a block quote is. I'm going to show you real quick. So I'm going to put a container right here, right? And then we're going to put, say, a heading. If you notice, they have that, different heading types. And let's say we're going to put a paragraph. This is kind of typically, if you like to want to start a blog, these are the traditional format. Now you could, like I said, you can change all of this with the style board that I'm covering up right here. But let's say I put a block quote underneath this, and notice how, notice how the look of it, you see I have that gray line, and then you can put a quote here. A lot of people like to put that when they're quoting something from a book or quoting something from another speaker or teacher. Those are just some typography things that you can do, okay? And then rich text. Rich text is pretty much like if you want to write a blog, and let's say you want to put images, you want to put, it's a text layout where it's easily modifiable. You're able to do it instead of like setting everything up one by one. You have a kind of a format preset that you could do. See right here, okay? This is really more if you want to have blogs and stuff like that in your website, articles and things. Next. So we'll go ahead and go to CMS. A CMS stands for Content Management System, or some people like to call it collection management, whatever. That is an element that pretty much like if you want to, something that, if you ever played with WordPress, right, you're able to do that. So you're able to actually add CMS. For those of you who do WordPress, for those of you who are developers, you're able to add a CMS into your WEBFLOW websites, which is actually very, very powerful. Once you dive more into it, you could use it to, like I said, with blog posts, it could be updated right away. You can have a CMS set up for your client where they'll just type it in. It'll automatically have that look that you want. I personally like to put this in, you can use this in church websites for like activities, right? They'll just input like the date, you know, the name of the activity, the date, the location, a little bit of description about it, and then they submit it, and then it adds to an activity page. Maybe in the future video, we'll talk more about CMSs. Media. So image is the basic one. You're going to have images in your website unless you're going to have a boring website, right? Well, some people do a good job at it, but not everyone. I'm not that good. Images. You could put images on your website. You could put a video, okay? You can even embed it there. Or you can even do a YouTube embed where you'll put this and then you can just put the link of your YouTube video and it'll be embedded automatically on your website. Instead of having to go on YouTube and get the embedded link yourself, you can just go directly onto WEBFLOW. You see, WEBFLOW, they try to, as much as they can. And by the way, what's cool with WEBFLOW, it's always updating. I mean, they're constantly updating it. I remember the last YouTube video, I saw something that I haven't seen before. And in the middle of the video, I had to be like, wait, what is this? Oh, okay, right? Next, we have Lottie animations. I actually have a video showing you how you can make a Lottie animation menu. Those are just animations in your website. If you've ever seen those, you can actually add those pretty easily. And I recommend if you're looking for Lottie animations, there's a cool website called lottiefiles.com. I believe that's the name. You could look for all sorts of animations in that website. Now, we'll go to forms here. Another thing that you can add in your website are forms. Those are very helpful. I have forms on my website whenever people contact me, but right now it is being run over by, I think, bots and scams. So please, if you're a bot or a scam, can you please stop submitting on my forms? Because like you're giving me hope. Like I think it's a client, but then I look at the phone number and I can't even call it. It doesn't even work. Like please stop. Stop. Don't give me false hope. Anyways, back to our form block. So you can put a form block, and this is what it looks like. Oh man, I keep not putting in the container. So you put in the form block. You can now this is kind of a shortcut. So you already have the name, email address. You can add more forms, or if you are one of those that wants to do it one by one, you have that option as well. You can go down here. You can add a label, which is the title of the form, or whatever the input is. You could put an input box. You could put a text area, which is more a paragraph, more long form. You could put a check box. Yes, I have read the disclaimer agreement, which is a lie. You know you didn't read the disclaimer agreement. You could put a radio button. Like there's something that you click. Yes, I'm a citizen. No, I am not a citizen. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to my mind, but it is. Okay. And then select, you can click from a drop down menu, so you can use that for anytime you drop down a reCAPTCHA. You all know what that is. The whole type this, and for some reason the word you could barely see it, right? Or I don't think they have that option. Can you imagine though? It'd be cool if they had that option where I click what is the stoplight. But then what I would like to do, if I had that idea, and I'm sorry, kind of my ADD working right now, if I could do my own reCAPTCHA where it's like click what is click the areas that is this. I'll just like put my face. I'm like this, and then like click RR's face. Never mind. If you're not a bot, and then submit a form button for your form. Now, components. These are just different components that you can put for your WEBFLOW website. A background video is the same as video, but uses a looping video that you can use as a background. I'll show you. There's a website that I actually am working on right now for a governor, and this is a background video. As you can see, we have a looping video in the background. So this is actually all done in WEBFLOW. It's super easy. I used to hard code this, and it was pretty tricky and pretty difficult, but in WEBFLOW it's just super easy. A drop down menu, you can use that. An embed. Now an embed that is pretty much whenever you want to add something. For example, like a widget, you can add like a map embed. Even though they already have the option, you can add videos from other sites. Just anything that you can embed, you can go ahead and do that in WEBFLOW. You can put the code in there. A light box is kind of like a slideshow, pretty much. Picture slideshow. When you click, it'll open up. Nav bar, you want to use that. So as you can see, if you put it right there, automatically you have a nav bar. You even have a location. Look at WEBFLOW being our friend, our best friend. You can even put a box there that you can put your logo, and it's already clickable. If you click that, it'll take you to the home page, and you have these elements right here. And what's awesome about this is if you were to make it on mobile, it's already a mobile menu. Isn't that awesome? Like some of y'all that do code, you know how kind of tricky that thing gets and how messed up it gets sometimes. And you can even edit those. Like I said, I have a video showing you how you can use that Lottie animation to put your menu. Then we have, where am I? Search. You can put a search bar on your WEBFLOW website to search, through your sites. That's also tricky in code. And you may say, well, it's not for me. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not as good as you. All right. A slider, it's another kind of a slideshow. Tabs, when you want to put like pages within your page. You could even embed a map, and then two more things. You can add a button where they can like you on Facebook or share it on Facebook or share it on Twitter. And another convenient thing that they gave you in WEBFLOW is something called layouts and symbols. We're gonna explain that real quick. If you click layouts, they have pre-built layouts for you to use if you're feeling lazy. I'll be honest with you, I don't use it. I don't utilize it enough. And there's some things that I need to study more, but this could totally be useful for some of you that already have, these are some of the common sections of a website, so you can use this for your next project, and it's super editable. And then you have stuff like symbols. You want to have consistency in your website with buttons, text, elements. You can go ahead and create symbols and have elements pre-built in your website so that you always achieve consistency. And those are some of the things that you can use for your website. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something from that video. If you did, would you be someone super awesome and click that like button? That would really help a brother out. And also, please subscribe. We're coming out with content like WEBFLOW tutorials and teaching you how you can get clients if you are starting a design agency, if you are a freelance designer, if you're trying to get a web design job or UI, UX, I recommend that you subscribe to our channel. Let us know if you need anything. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace.